Mr. Prabhat into the conversation. This has been one area of humongous transformation. There you go. That's the startup story. Up till 2013-14, there were 4. This is before the Modi government came into office. But look at the transformation in the last 10 years. It has now gone up. Overall, there are 113 unicorns that are valued at over $1 billion. 113, the total value of which is combined to more than $350 billion. But Mr. Prabhat, what this doesn't tell you is how bad, particularly the last year or so, has been for startups. There is a funding winter that's going on. Many startups have lost significantly in terms of their value. What are your expectations from the budget for the startup sector? And do you see this as a process of normal course correction, or do you see this as a bit of an aberration, and do you see, the India startup story going back to the strengths that we saw in 2020, 21, 22 almost?
I think this is just a course correction because during COVID, a lot of companies really took in a lot of money because the expectations were quite different. I mean, a lot of industries went digital, and the companies and the funds really pumped in money. And I think after COVID, people went back to their offices, people went back to their schools. So I think it's really changed. I think it's a course correction in one sense. But at the same time, with AI coming into picture right now, and this is a much, much bigger force than what we have seen so far, much bigger than maybe internet, much bigger than maybe a mobile revolution. I think with AI coming into picture, I guess this number will again, go up. In fact, it will go north of 250, 300 anytime soon. All the companies which were really trying to work with so many analytics, so much data, they can do so much more with AI. And India being an IT hub already, it can become the powerhouse for AI revolution. And if you look at all the investments which are being done by countries like say, Singapore or even Saudi Arabia for that matter, not to mention Europe and US, I guess we are just on the course for the next revolution right now.
All right. Gurcharan Das also wants to come in on that point. The experts in the studio, Mr. Das, were talking about, unleashing animal spirits, private sector crowding in. I've been hearing this phrase for a while now, for about 4 or 5 years. Why is it that India Inc. is not investing to the tune that maybe even the government expects them to, despite, record corporate profits, one of the lowest corporate tax rates anywhere in this region? And also, look at the Sensex. It's all at record highs. Why isn't that private sector investment, that crowding in, happening?
That's a very good question. But let me just finish the point that was made by the excellent point made by the previous speaker. Let's on startups. What we have to, we are all of us unanimous that India is not creating the jobs that should be created at 7% growth. And we are mourning the fact that the industrial revolution has not taken place yet. I would just like to bring one statistic. There was a very famous study done by a professor at MIT in the 1980s, which showed that the maximum number of jobs created in the American economy over 30 years was not by the big giants or by the mom and pop stores, but by the startups, by the unicorns. And so I think before we leave the subject of unicorns, we should say that, yes, it's not just the number of unicorns, but we want those startups to become big. And when they become big, they create huge number of jobs. And that's really ultimate benefit to the nation. So let's, I just thought it was worth underlining this fact that the importance of unicorns to the India story.
All right.
Now, about the question you've asked, Raka, It's a very good question, and in fact, very hard to answer. The fact is that companies invest when there is a demand, when they run out of capacity, they expand their factories. And really, instead of, as it were, blaming the company, it really goes down to the issue of consumer demand. And so if we can crack that, if the government can crack that issue, I mean, it has to happen because you can't have 7% growth and not have enough consumer demand. And consumer demand, has been weak. I mean, there's no question about it. Um, this is the quandary. How can you grow at 7% and not be creating the demand that should come? So I guess all the things we've been talking about, we still need to create that industrial revolution. A number of speakers have said we are still an over-regulated economy, and that hurts the small guy.
All
The
right.
big companies can manage the regulation. They hire somebody and they manage those things. But a poor small guy is really burdened. And we still have that license, inspector, permit. We don't have licenses, we don't have inspectors so much. But that mentality
Is still
in the
there.
bureaucracy is venomous,
All right.
is absolutely venomous.
Give me a moment. We have to take a break, but all those points are well taken. How much of this gets translated in the budget? What kind of elbow room the finance minister has? We will know when she presents the budget at 11 a.m. in exactly 90 minutes from now. I'm going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be live at the CII with my colleague Shivani, and she'll be speaking to some CEOs from India Inc. on what their expectations are from this current round of budget. It'll also be a stock taking of the last 10 years of the Modi government and what it needs to do if it returns to power after the summer elections. Quick break. We'll see you